and then 3 club programs. In lane 1, Cal Poly Humboldt. Lane 2, University of Central Oklahoma. Lane 3, Seattle Pacific. Lane 4, UC Santa Barbara. Lane 5, UC Irvine. And lane 6, UC Davis. Now, coming out of the heats yesterday, we saw some very, very close times between Humboldt, Central Oklahoma, and Seattle Pacific. Those are your 3 Division II programs, and all of these crews vying for a bid to go to the national championships at the end of May. So the racing that we're going to see today is really going to be indicative of the top end speed of these programs. Right now, the 2 crews that have pushed their bow in front are going to be Seattle Pacific coming out of lane 3 and Humboldt in lane 1. Central Oklahoma sitting in the 3rd place spot, but just by about 1 seat down. And now Humboldt moving themselves into the 1st place. So Humboldt now sitting 2 seats over Seattle Pacific. Again, in these early stages, we'll keep our eyes on the progression of the crews because things can change. A lot changes at that 1,000-meter line. Within the first 500 meters, there's a lot of jockeying for position as these crews transition into their base rate. Let me go ahead and get a rate for you for Humboldt. We have them clocked at 36.5 strokes a minute. Let me get a rate for Seattle Pacific and Oklahoma. I have Seattle Pacific at 36, Oklahoma at 33.5. So what you're going to see with those different stroke rates is maybe a little bit of a different strategy. For some of these crews, if they're lighter, they might have a little higher stroke rate. If the fitness is there, they're going to be able to maintain that stroke rate as they go down the race course and still have something left in the tank to put down an effective sprint. But right now, it is the Lumberjacks from Cal Poly Humboldt putting down a great first half of this race. At 750 meters to gone, we're looking at a 7-seat lead for Humboldt over now 2nd place Central Oklahoma. Central Oklahoma, when we watched the heats yesterday, they're a little bit of a slow burn crew, so they don't jump out of the gates quickly. They come on a little bit later in the race. So the coxswains, the crews, they've got to be savvy about those race plans. So right, Central Oklahoma in the 2nd place position. They're now sitting 4 seats over the Falcons of Seattle Pacific. Yesterday in the heat, Seattle Pacific had a phenomenal race, really picking up a lot of late season speed, and we're seeing that here as they maintain this competitive spot here in the grand final. As we come to the line, top 3 crews, Humboldt, Central Oklahoma, Seattle Pacific separating themselves out from the rest of the field. In 4th, it's going to be UC Santa Barbara, a club program with a lot of athletes every year, very, very competitive, currently ranked 3rd in the ACRA polls, so always a competitive crew. They are sitting with a 1-length advantage over the Anteaters of UC Irvine. UC Irvine looking at an open water lead over the Aggies of UC Davis. So as we come down the race course right now, we're looking at the crews currently in position in lane order. But Humboldt, really, that coxswain using her hands, she is emotional, urging these crews on. She's looking across at the bow of the Central Oklahoma boat. She is trying to pull clear of the Broncos, but the Broncos, tenacious, they are holding tight to their positioning in 2nd place, but still sitting about 3 seats above Seattle Pacific. We're going to turn this over to Whitney. Final 750 meters here of the grand final for the women's Varsity 8s Division 2, 3, and club programs. The Lumberjacks on the move, Broncos chasing with Seattle Pacific on the hunt. Not muted.
And it looks like our positions have not changed very much here as we come in 500 to go. Humboldt still in that first place position. And again, they have the advantage of looking back at the rest of the field. But you can see that lane 2, Central Oklahoma, is hot on their heels as that bow ball is overlapping that coxswain just every once in a while. It just depends on whose blades are in the water and whose blades are out of the water. And Central Oklahoma, who has been a little bit of a dark horse at this race this weekend, has really started to show up here in this second half. They are starting to push a little bit away from Seattle Pacific, who really is not going to let them go down without a fight, because Seattle Pacific, I can just feel the emotion here from that coxswain. She is leaning forward, pushing her crew on, trying to reel in Central Oklahoma seat by seat. And it looks like Humboldt here, keep an eye on them along the shore as we come into the red zone. They are going to shoot down the runway here and try to run away with this first place position. Central Oklahoma, decks overlapped. They are almost making a little bit of a push early here. It looks like they may have brought their rate up a teeny bit. That coxswain is going to take a move here, try to challenge Humboldt on the shore side here. Seattle Pacific in that third place position. She has not given up on her crew yet. This coxswain is pushing her crew to try to challenge Central Oklahoma for that second place spot, but I don't know if they have enough water. Here we go. Humboldt along the shore, lane 1 in that first place position. This coxswain is looking at that bow ball and ready to call that first place finish for her crew. And there you have it. Lane 2, Central Oklahoma, excellent race, challenging Humboldt, followed very closely by Seattle Pacific. Santa Barbara here in the fourth place position, those flashy yellow blades. Followed by UC Irvine, again, that shark fin bow number here, crossing the line in that fifth place position. Rounding out by Davis here, finishing up their sprint, last few strokes. What a race that was. Congratulations to Humboldt for taking the win in the grand final.